It is said that God is love. We have heard that many a times, and many people have explained in their own ways what is love. But to feel that love is the best way of understanding it. Even if you explain or describe in all details this is all right. Though it is described in all details, you cannot enjoy love without experiencing it. This experience comes to us because God Himself has placed within us the mechanism to absorb this love and to manifest it. It is a very delicate mechanism within us, extremely delicate. This mechanism is placed in our heart and by our ignorance so many times we spoil this mechanism or disturb it or sometimes even completely destroy it. The light of love is joy. Anything else cannot give you joy. It's only the love that you feel in your heart gives you joy. This mechanism acts in 7 layers within us. In the periphery of these 7 layers, we have got ripples of this joy arising. They come to the shores of our brain and create the bubbles of joy. But again, if the brain is a very rational rock, then these bubbles dissolve, giving no effect to the rock. So a loving person is 1,000 times better than a rational person. But most of the people feel this love only on the periphery of the outermost layer, which is the light of the Muladhara. As you know that Muladhara has got excretory effects, and how important or relieved we feel when our excretions are all right. It's a basic thing. But that relief gives you a kind of a joy and happiness. It's very gross. It's very low type, as they call it, but very important. for us to get that joy. But to make this joy not so dominating over all other joys of deeper sensitivity is to be innocent. I know one cannot be innocent, you have to be innocent yourself. But with Sahaj Yoga you can, by clearing your Muladhara. So that's very important that our Muladharas must be clear, our innocence must be established, so that these gross joys do not cover the entire spectrum of our life and make us slaves of these gross joy-giving reliefs. But to clean your Muladhara does not mean by any chance in Sahaj Yoga to get after any kind of obsession and obstruction, but to give a natural release like an innocent child to these ripples which need not go back to all the other layers of joy. You must have seen when the ripples in an ocean touch the shores, they turn back. If the shores are made of very hard rocks, this turning can be very deep and the waves can go much deeper. If the brain is very ego-oriented, is covered with ego, then these joys have a much greater significance in life than normally it is. Innocence is the only way one can neutralize those ripples coming back on the other 6 very important layers. As you go forward, you know, in the second layer is the joy of creativity. In the joy of creativity, when the joy of creativity comes within us, it again comes back to the periphery. For some people it is so important, so maddening to create something. They are mad after it. And they think it is something so important to do, to create some thought, to create some book, to create some artistic impressions or something. For some people it's very important, so they create. And this creativity, when it hits some rational mind, it gives him the same kind of a deeper reaction, that a person starts thinking that he is the greatest of all and whatever he does to the rest of the world is all right as long as he is a great creator of thought or ideas. Such a man can become very, very dogmatic, dominating, and could be tyrannical, because he thinks whatever he does is showing results, showing success according to him. He rationalizes the whole thing and the whole thing goes back much deeper into him, covers all other his chakras. So the neutralizing of this second layer is thoughtless awareness. nirvikar, nirvichar. When your awareness is enlightened, samadhi, and you are in nirvichar state, then whatever you create, you just see it. In thoughtless awareness, you really enjoy whatever you see or whatever you create. You are in thoughtless awareness. That is how it is kept to the periphery. It is important that it should be kept coming on the brain, because brain is the one which records it. And if the brain is such a solid stuff that it cannot record, it is not sensitive, most of it is lost in giving it a reaction, and the whole joy is finished. For example, you create some painting. You just create it and just look at it without any thought. The complete joy of your heart which you have poured onto that canvas will be filling you completely, and you will feel the flow of joy going down. If creation is done in thoughtless awareness, then it's the most beautiful. Apart from that, it is the most beautiful, it is the most perfect. Because such a painting or such an art or such a creation, such a thought, such a book, such an idea will emit vibrations. The coefficients to emit vibrations will be complete if it is done in thoughtless awareness. That's why those who are realized souls, when they create something or they produce something, you find it easy to find out whether it is giving vibrations or not. Very easy. In the same way, you go to the third very, very important center of your Nabhi. Nabhi, or you can call it the navel chakra. The joy of feeling that you have eaten the food cannot be described. In Marathi देवचे आता चांगलं पोट भरलं आमचं. If you are hungry, you won't even take to Sahaja. You won't take to God. Even if God is standing before you, you'll say, first fill my stomach, O God, then I will talk to you. And when you eat the food, the joy you get out of that also goes to the periphery as usual. If it goes to a rational rock, as I say, then again the effect is deeper. If you start thinking about it, you feel, I have had my food, others must have, and this and that and all those things. And then you think that I must have more of this and more of that. I must have something more to feed my stomach. Now when you are, say, you have a limited stomach, you can't eat mounds of food. Some people can eat, I don't know. Otherwise somebody will start arguing on that. Some may be eating quite a lot, I don't deny that. But normally people have very limited stomach. Then when your stomach is limited, you start thinking, oh, my stomach is limited, still the joy of the Nabhi chakra is not yet complete. Let me think of something else. So you end up with alcohol, because alcohol you think takes no space in the stomach. You think it has a different spacing in the stomach. I have seen people drinking beer. I was surprised you cannot drink so much of water as people can drink beer. It's most surprising. Pints of beer they can go on drinking, and they never feel satisfied. At this time, the movement starts towards the left of the joy. This is the beginning of the left side. We start. And that time, you think that by getting drunk, you are getting into a very romantic mood or some sort of a nonsense like that. Then you start spending all your time, wasting your life, taking to laziness, to inertia. You may take to drugs. This is, I would say, can reach up to the heart of a person or to the liver of the person. The liver goes on becoming solid and solid. The more you drink, the worse you become. So, man goes on wasting his time, trying to get joy out of something which is so dangerous for your being. Anybody who says that drinking is very bad, people immediately say that, oh, he is absolutely Victorian, or I don't know, whatever is it, they brand the person. Now, how to get rid of Nabhi complication? Because these joys are so temporary, you will see in every case. Now, Nabhi joy is also very temporary. And you do not also enjoy it much. If you could, you would not go into it again and again. So the neutralizing point is satisfaction. You should feel satisfied. You have eaten, all right, 2 morsels, feel satisfied. Even with 2 morsels, you will be much happy than like a bakasur if you eat a mound of rice. To be satisfied is the only way you can neutralize your Nabhi. In all your wants, material wants, there's no end to it. You go on supplying any number of things. You'll go on asking for more. But you have not enjoyed anything. You have bought one piece of cloth, you made a shirt for yourself, you want to have another one. Because a person who is working in your office has got this kind of a shirt. So he'll run all over the world to find that shirt. But the one who is wearing the shirt, he's running all over the world to find a shirt as you have made. So this madness goes on increasing, and the Nabhi chakra remains in a big turmoil. So one of the neutralizing points, most important, is satisfaction of Nabhi. At every point you should try to feel satisfied. All right? If I haven't got it, I am satisfied. At that moment you will get the joy. I've got this thing, all right, I am satisfied, you will get the joy. And others will be also in happy disposition. Imagine a man who is gregarious, living in a house. When you just don't like such a man, it looks so odd. आता असं आहे की आपल्याकडे पुष्कळ, ह्यांचं म्हणणं आहे मराठीत आणि हिंदीत करा वगैरे, इथे पुष्कळ बाहेरचे लोक आलेले आहेत म्हणून इंग्लिशमध्ये बोलते. आपल्याकडे काय आहे की पाहुण्यांना पहिलं महत्त्व दिलं पाहिजे. आपल्या भारतीय संस्कृतीमध्ये पाहुण्यांचं महत्त्व पहिलं असतं. आणि एवढं काही मी कठीण इंग्लिश मला जाणतच नाही. मी अगदी साधं बोलते, आपलं मराठाळलेलं इंग्लिश बोलते, तेव्हा काही एवढं कठीण जाणार नाही आपल्याला. त्याचा मत्यर्थ बघा, मत्यर्थावर राहा म्हणजे बरोबर कळेल. मत्यर्थ बघायला पाहिजे. हे पार आहेत का गृहस्थ? पार नसल्यावर समजायचं नाही मराठीत सुद्धा. पार आहेत ना? वडील आहेत का तुमचे? काय हो, तुम्हाला समजत नाही का? मी ओळखलं नाही, किती चेहरा बदलला. नाही ठीक आहे, बसावं. नाही समजतंय सगळं. हा नाही समजतंय. बसा थोडं समजून घ्या. समजा पार झालं तर समजेल. हिंदी फार कठीण बोलते मी. हिंदी भाषेत पारंगत आहे. इंग्लिश भाषा आपली ठीक आहे माझी जेमतेम, तेव्हा इंग्लिशच बरं थोडंसं चालू दे. आता एकदा सुरू केलंय, आधी विचारलं होतं मी, तेव्हा बोलायचं असतं ना. आता जरासं चालू द्या सरळ, सुरळीत. चांगला विषय रंगतोय तो बघा. रंगला पाहिजे विषय, फक्त त्याच्यात भंग नाही केला पाहिजे. So satisfaction is the only way one can enjoy. Even say I am speaking in English. If you just see, are you enjoying the satisfaction of it? Supposing I was not a Maharashtrian, I could have been born a Japanese or a Chinese. And supposing I was speaking in Chinese with 3,000 words, ting tung tang, then what would have understood me? So again here we come to the same question. Are we satisfied? Whatever we get. Those who are looking for Amrut, for Amrose, do not bother about the words. They just want to pick up what Mataji is saying is the essence. Pick it up. That's how you are going to feel satisfied. Now we have seen now about, I was even satisfied with this heavy stuff. तेच दिसतंय जबरदस्त. अगदी दगडी होतो. लंडनला मी इतके सेन्सिटिव्ह आहे, दगडी आहे. I will be dissatisfied with everything. For example, if I want to be dissatisfied now, I can say, why do you put it of two colors before me and this dirty handkerchief? Or I can say something else. There's no end to madness if you start with dissatisfaction. But if you start with satisfaction, then that's the point. You don't have to go further, this way, that way, you just go deep. In Marathi language also some things can be said. मला आवडतच नाही, मला चालतच नाही, च लावलं की गेले, असंच करा तसंच करा. Such a person is such a headache, I tell you. Such a person, as soon as you see, you feel, oh God, what have I done today? to deserve this. A person should live in this world like the flowers. You can't see them how they bloom, what time they bloom, but when they bloom, can only feel their fragrance, their love. Satisfaction you cannot have without realization. So before that, if I say you should be satisfied, it's just brainwashing. You cannot. After realization, because you have found that what satisfies you, spirit, that's why your priorities change. You get satisfied for nothing at all. You may do lots of labor to achieve something, and you can be absolutely frustrated and unhappy person. And you can be all the time blaming yourself, and the same person can be the happiest person. Some people do this much of work. You tell them, go and get a flower. Oh, Mataji, very difficult these days, Started. To get one flower, it means nowadays it's very expensive, you don't know. It used to be 1 pice, now it is at least 2 annas. Very difficult. Asha Baba, take 2 annas and go and get it. But how will I go? The bus is very difficult these days. Started. The flower will never come. Your 2 annas will be lost. Your bus fare will be lost. So a person who is satisfied is the most efficient person. Our country suffers from Nabhi Chakra. That's why we are very inefficient people. For everything we have excuses. Like, this is not working because this was not working. Our inefficiency comes out of Nabhi Chakra problem. If you are a satisfied person, your work is very satisfying also. If a lady has a good Nabhi, when she cooks her food, with very little food you feel very satisfied. Whatever she will do will be excellent. So for all Nabhi problems, one mantra one must remember is of satisfaction. Now we go to void. Though in the 7 layers it is little confused with Nabhi, but we have to see to void also. In dharma, in sustenance, we get happiness about it. When we try to be nice to someone, we get happiness out of it. But some people who are supposed to be dharmic can be horrid, so boring that you would like to run away from such people all your life. They are supposed to be very religious people. They get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, torture everyone around. Then they do their arti, rubbing of the sandalwood. Then having a bath with a big stotra going on. Everybody must wake up. Maybe the mother has slept very little. She is looking after her children, or something going on. They must disturb everyone, saying that they are dharmics. Very hot-tempered, angry people. This dharma can be neutralized in a very, very simple way. That dharma is your own concentration. Inward. Like you want to donate something to someone, it's just between you and God. There is no expression of it outside at all. If you are honest, God save me from many honest people, I tell you. Some of the so-called honest can be so blunt that you cannot go near them. They think if they are honest, then they have a right to cut everybody's throat. स्पष्टवक्ते इत्यादी इत्यादी. आपल्या मराठा शाहीमध्ये पुष्कळ आहेत अशी उदाहरणं. मी एवढ्यासाठी मराठीत नाही बोलत की मी वाहते. In Marathi language, you see, we have beautiful names for such people, you see, who are karmathas and absolutely dandeshahi, we call them, dandadhari. Such a pandit, if he is going from this side, go from the other side of the road. Otherwise he might just hit you hard. You ask him, what is it? Why did you hit me hard? Because you are not supposed to take your parting to that extreme of the head. Mataji has said the parting should be in the center. But it is for you, I have said it, not for anybody else. It should be concentrated on yourself. The dharma is for ourselves. Mataji has said, I am surprised sometimes at what I am saying. So many people have this bad habit of going around saying, Mataji has said that this should be done. Mataji has said this should be done. I don't know if I have said it or not. But why do you say? You should say, I say. Why don't you say that I say as Sahaj Yogi? But it is all your own. It's your own clearing that is important in dharma and not anybody else's. There's a relationship between you and your guru, direct. Supposing you come and tell me something that Mataji, this is between you and me. That is between you and me, though I am not bound by it, not at all. If it is necessary, I may speak it out. But 99% I'll keep it that as a secret. So it is the secrecy of your own dharma. The beauty of it is like this. You see the subtleties. Sukshmat Bhaga. If you are a dharmic man, it's so sweet, you know. Suddenly you find this shine appearing, like a diamond suddenly, with all the facets. Suddenly you find a person, oh, what a beautiful man he is. But you are not looking after yourself, looking after everybody's dharma. Then the same thing will happen. That the joy of dharma will only be felt if you limit it to yourself. That cannot be shared. Virtues cannot be shared. Can I share my virtues with you? I cannot. You can support it. Somebody has a virtuous man, then you can support him. But the joy of that dharma, that rasa falling into your heart, nobody else can enjoy it. You enjoy your own chastity. It is of course written, ki thou shalt not do, thou shalt not do. These are all commandments have come, but they can come only from God, not from you. Once you start doing it to others, you are finished. You have lost the joy of your dharma. Now we have one Mr. Kulkarni here. His dharma is like that. There are many like Mr. Patil is there. So many like that. I don't want to name any more, otherwise Jay will start jealousy. But we have lots of people who have a dharma within them, which just shows, suddenly. And you try to test them. They will just tell you, "But Mataji, त्याच्यात आमचं चुकेल तर." Absolutely on the point of dharma if you are. You will never teach dharma to others. Preaching religion is against religion. You cannot preach. How can you preach religion? I cannot understand. Till today I have not been able to understand. How can we preach religion? We can only evolve our own, imbibe our own. Except for the people who are incarnation. They can tell what is religion, but they cannot put religion into you. And when you start enjoying that religion within you, you start having that more and more within yourself. Then you start respecting yourself. Your self-respect comes. So, we take it to this, that religion is the respect. The neutralization of using religion for wrong things is respect. Respect every other person. Respect his religion. Respect the principles of other religion. Of religion I am saying. नहीं तो उठले लागले भूताच्या मागे. Again, discrimination should be there. I am saying respect the religion that is within you and the religion in another person. Maybe secretly that person is very religious, outwardly he doesn't show up. All the centers, if I have to talk, it will be too much. सगळं सांगायचं का? काय? मजा येऊन राहिली आहे? बरं मग एक आणखीन सांगते काम. Whatever you say, I have no desire. So we come to religion, which is a part of Nabi. The satisfaction of religion is only possible when you learn to respect other people, their religion, their styles. Because in Sahaja Yoga, very commonly, there is a Marathi word for that, kul. In English, I don't know, a kink I think is the word. That he is catching there, she is catching there, that thing is catching, that thing is catching, is a crack in the head. For Sahaja Yogis, it is very common. What is catching in you? Everybody is caught up by you, and here you are. That person is catching there, that person is catching there, this person has this catch, that another has that catch. This is how Sahaja Yoga is going to improve or fall down. Without telling that person, without talking to him about it, you can correct his catches and your own. Why are you catching? Because you have some weakness. I never catch from anyone. So to denounce somebody or to put down somebody is not proper. That shows you have less strength. So you should say that, Mother, I have less strength, and because that person has so much of this kind of a vibrations, I feel a little bad. If the whole world is all right and then you are going to feel all right, then what's the use of having this light? Just think of this. Then we'll say that all right, I am the light and I have to give light, I am a realized soul. But when all the lights are all right, then only I will be with them. So what a light and a half, what's the use of having such a light? We should have such lights that can go in the darkness and finish the darkness. That light is the light of Dharma within us. It is not how many times you meditate, how many times you sit in the water, put your feet in the water, or use my photograph, or what you do and all these rituals. It is not that. It is how much Dharma is within your heart. Sharayu's mother is another very great example of that Dharma. There are so many of them, but I am mentioning all the senior people because you don't feel jealous of them much. So try to imbibe the Dharma within yourself. And then you will see eventually you will become a very generous-hearted person, very generous-hearted, because you will start tolerating everyone. Even generous as far as money is concerned, that's something so gross. I mean, a person who is a conjuice of money is absolutely gross. But beyond that is tolerating other people. There are some people who have a nice house, they don't want anybody else to come in. In London it's very common, I've seen in England, very common. They'll have a huge nice house, all the time they're cleaning, sweeping, swabbing, putting, polishing. Even rat won't enter that house. And they used to say, you have an open house or what? I said, yes, I mean you have a closed house. I didn't know what is a closed house. Say our comfort is ours, Saturday, Sunday should be our own and we cannot share it with anyone. That sort of a temperament. Then you start tolerating, you become generous. You start giving for others. Giving vibrations. So, you know that I have told many people who catch on Navi or void that today you do some dhan. So they will go and give it to Indira Gandhi. Because they want a seat in the election. This is the speciality of rational people. माताजींनी दान सांगितलं ना, मग झालं. So do some dhan. There are so many places where one can give gifts. Of course, Sahaja Yoga is one of the greatest places where you should give dhan. But there are so many places. But don't remember and go and tell them that all right, I'll give you 5 rupees, but you will have to put my at least initials in the marble. Kanjusha. Put those initials of mine in the marble with the black. Generosity just flows. It flows and emits by itself and you just start enjoying it. Now, the most important chakra is that of the Jagadamba, is the heart. And this gives you joy. At a point where you have relationship with your children, Udara Charitanam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The people who are generous, for them the whole world is their own children. For everyone the love flows. Everybody's worry is the worry of that person. This comes from the center heart, that you try to mother every person. That feeling is there. But the anti-joy people are, this is my son, this is my daughter. Now the son will bring a dowry, so keep some good food for him, and to the daughter give her some dahi bhat. Then goes little further. This is my son, this is my daughter. I must get all the money in the world, live like a miserly fellow, to spend in the marriage of my children. Then what happens to you? You are left high and dry, children go away, then don't even look at you. Then this is my father, this is my mother. This is my daughter, this is my son. And I have to look after them after all. So I can make some black market money. What is the harm after all? You see, I have to look after. This is rationality against the heart. The ones whom we so-called protect, we put them into sin. Go further. This is my son, this is my daughter. They must become prime ministers after me. Or they must get money. So what can I do? He is my son, he is looking after me, this is my son, he knows all the things that I have done. So, after all, even if the whole country goes to dogs, what does it matter? I am a mother, I am a father. I must look after my children. That's my first and primary duty. So the joy is absolutely killed because you see your children misbehaving, you see your children going to dogs. You see them going away from God, to hell. Many parents are responsible for sending their children to hell. They are supposed to be looking after their children. Then the other extreme, of course you know that when you get such examples, then the reaction comes in where, like the West, you just don't care for your children, throw them in the dust. So, these protective measures we take, or these paternal feelings we have, should be without any attachment and fear. Any fear. Insurance, children must get insurance money. Because tomorrow we die, what will happen to them? What about these birds? They never insure themselves. So insure yourselves, insure everyone. Go on worrying about your children. हे मुलीसाठी ठेवणीतलं ठेवून द्या. लग्नात तिच्या. लग्नाच्या वेळा ती निघेल फाटकं तिकडे. All sorts of efforts we put in to give protection because we have fear. We have fear of the future. And this fear of the future could be got rid of. Then our protection will be at a time when they need the protection. When they do not need the protection, we are not going to give them any protection. Then only our protective joy will be complete. Follow. कल्याण है. So the protection is given by the goddess to her bhaktas, not to abhaktas, not to rakshasas. But you people do not discriminate in protection. To you, a son who is born, who may be a rakshas also, doesn't matter, give him protection. Others have to be protected from him, but you are protecting. People are frightened of your son. But you will be protecting him still, giving all protection and encouraging him to kill others, removing their protection and giving them fear. So what is the essence? First and foremost is, essence of heart chakra is security, is to feel your own security yourself. Feel your own security within yourself. Only the realized can feel that security, because they know they have their Atma, their spirit. At small things, we destroy our security. Like supposing you wear a blue shirt and a black pant, finished. You can't walk on the street because everybody will start criticizing. You will wear a wet pant just to match with the blue one and get some trouble. But you cannot wear something different because the whole world will be saying, oh God, you are wearing this and that. So the complete security within yourself is that you are the self and these things are not important. If you are a secured man, your children will also find that out, that their security lies in finding their own securities. They themselves will say, now, don't try to help us to spoil us. Do not give us things by which we feel more insecure. And such children would be really brave children, like Shivaji was. His mother gave him all the protection, no doubt, but she made a Shivaji out of him. Any mother who all the time sort of she hankers after the son or the daughter and weeping and crying must know that she has to create a Shivaji out of him, because she is a Sahajogini. They have to carry these swords of their mother. These crying babies, what are we going to do with them? Feel your own security. And then the joy of that security will take you to your depth. Why are you insecure in life? Money? Kasli vivanchana. The person who has got now the blessings of the divine, what more does he want? Because your God is almighty. Nobody's might is greater than that of your Father. Nobody dare touch you on any point, but your faith is lacking. And that's why start with your faith in yourself. Make the faith sit in your heart. And that faith is going to give you the joy of security. Faith is the answer for all the insecurities of the world. आता संबंध परमेश्वर उभा केला स्वतः समोर तुम्ही, आणखीन काय पाहिजे? So now we come to the chakra of Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi chakra can be divided into two, is here and Hamsa. There are two chakras. And Vishuddhi chakra is, as you know, is the chakra of Virat, where we have to seek ourselves in others. We have to seek our Atma in another person. We have to feel his Atma, we have to feel everybody's Atma, we have to feel everyone else. We have to feel it. And how to do it, Krishna has taught us, is Madhurya. Is the, English मध्ये काही शब्द नाही म्हणा, is the sweetness. Madhurya is the essence of sweetness. Feel others with the sweetness of it, that you are going to feel a flower. You are going to smell the fragrance of the other flower, which has a different fragrance from yours. Feel that person with that sweetness as you feel the flower. How you catch the flower, how you smell it, how carefully you don't even break a little of that so that you get the complete fragrance. That fragrance you can only feel if you have that sweetness, that madhurya. And that sweetness of yours is so joy-giving. How you say things sweetly, how you express yourself sweetly. But in Marathi language, very difficult. खाष्टपणा पाचवीला पुजलेला आहे. खाष्टपणानेच बोललं पाहिजे, तडाखून. Gujaratis are sweet to talk, पण त्यांचं नाभी गेलेलं आहे. I think the sharpness of tongue, the cutting nature of tongue, the sarcasm, the so-called brilliance of expression. Sometimes it is better to be with a Buddhu than to be with such an intelligent man who is all the time sharp, sharp, sharp going on hitting you, morning till evening. Then you say harsh things, then develop a guilt. Then you develop a guilt, then you have to say more harsh things. It goes on. So this kind of a behavior is because when we speak, we do not have a sensitivity to feel another person. Put yourself in the same situation. How will you feel? So, at the Vishuddhi level, Madhurya, such a simple thing it is. Develop. You have to develop a method. Especially Maharashtrians must develop. कारण संबंध भाषाच मुळे अगदी तलवारबाज आहे. त्यात एकाहून एक आपले लेखक होऊन गेले तलवारबाज. मग सगळ्यांनी काय अगदी काय म्हणतात त्याला क्रिटिसिझमला टीकाकार होऊन गेले. टीकाकार म्हणजे टीकेखोर वृत्ती फार जास्त महाराष्ट्रात. अगदी एकशे एक हाजीर आहे आणि स्वस्तात मिळतात. आणि ती पाठ करून ठेवायचं म्हणजे नाटकातच आहे ते. पाठ करून ठेवायचं. 7-7 रुपयाचं तिकीट काढून जाऊन चांगलं ट्रेनिंग घ्यायचं. आणि एकदा तरबेज झाले की मग बघा काय चढाचढ. वा, उडवायला जी सुरुवात होते की फटाक्याचे बार काय असतील. पण तो जो गोडवा असतो, the sweetness of your tongue, the sweetness of your talking, the sweetness of meeting people, the whole thing, the sweetness itself gives you such a joy to meet such a person who is so sweet and nice. नाही तर आला की घे फायलावर, तो आला की घे फायलावर. एनीबडी who comes to your house must wear a shield. ते चिलखत वगैरे आहेत ना, ती घालून फिरा. सोपं काम नाही. मग ते आई असे ना का, वडील असे नात का, मुलं असे नात का, सगळे म्हणजे अगदी तरबेज मराठी भाषेतले शिवाजी. So it is important that the language should be extremely sweet for a Sahajogi. On that point they are going to judge you, I can tell you this much. Sharp tongued people, nobody is going to accept. They'll say, hey Sahajogi, हे देवा आम्हाला असं व्हायचं. The other antithesis of this is, in Marathi it is better said, is की केसानी गळा कापला तरी पता लागणार नाही. ते इंग्लिश मध्ये सांगणं कठीण. Is that even if you cut the throat with the hair, you won't know the person has cut your throat and still he is talking to you so sweetly. These are two extremes which are very dangerous for Sahaja Yoga and for Sahajogis. The center is very easy, that when you speak to someone, say it with your heart. Say with the blessings of your Atma. एखाद वेळेला द्यावी लागते म्हणा चपराक. Sometimes one has to say something sharp, important. Especially for me, which is a very hard task, but I have to use sometimes a very sharp language because nothing goes into the head sometimes. But you people better avoid it. Leave it to me, because I am so good at it that from one side I'll say something, the other side immediately I know how to plaster you properly. So you don't try these tricks. See? This is my style, which is a very difficult thing. I do say things, but they are hitakari. If I even harsh with you sometimes, if I scold you sometimes I have to be sharp. You know that I love you very much. That I have established within you. First, you establish your love in another person, then say. This is the way you can overcome this problem of Vishuddhi. And how do you learn? Just by witnessing. Like two nice friends talking to each other. Just witness how they are enjoying. एकाला थापड्या मारून दोघं कसे मजेत बोलतात. Just witness the drama. You will pick it up in no time, just like that. This sweetness will be flowing into you. Become so soft in your behavior. In your countenance, in your face. नाही तर डोळे वट्टारून, मिशाला ताण देऊन, वगैरे वगैरे जे कंसात असतं ते सगळं करू नये. सरळ अगदी साधं बोलणं, सिंपल, शोभतं सहजयोगाला. तर लोक म्हणतील की भेटले आम्हाला कोणीतरी एक सज्जन. People should say that you are a realized soul. I can see that. It should be so evident. So give up your last practices and habits. Try to be friendly with it. Sri Krishna's beauty was that he had friends, gops. And what was the quality of the gops compared to Sri Krishna? You see, but how he got friendly with them? Friendship. Friendship. Now, how am I to describe to you the friendship of it? You see, Jivascha Kanthascha Mitra. The Marathi language has great words which you cannot express in English. But in friendship, you will find that enjoyment. But if you are not a witness, then what you will see? किती पैसे दिले उधार, अजून पैसे परत केले नाही, इत्यादी इत्यादी. In friendship it works both ways. You never trouble each other, but whenever there is difficulty, you can smell it, you can feel it. In Sahaja Yoga it has happened, miracles like this. One lady told me that she was in great difficulty once, and she didn't know what to do. So she just thought of somebody who was a Sahaja Yogi. She said, just now if you can come, my problem can be solved. And there was a knock and he was at the door. When she opened the door and she was surprised, he solved the problem. She said, how are you here? She said, I don't know why. The bus stop here, I felt like getting down and seeing you. So this Samuhik Chetana, this universality, you can feel it on your Vishuddhi Chakra, so that you become a part and parcel that Virat. Once you are fully part and parcel, all of you can feel each other. But without sweetness, you cannot be. Imagine the nose fighting the eyes and the mouth fighting the ears. What will happen to a person? Same is the condition of Virat today. Sometimes the ears are blowing, sometimes the head is blowing. The Virat doesn't know what to do, because you all are fighting with each other. Think of something sweet. But in that, universality is the point, not one person. कारण ते आमच्याबरोबर कॉलेजला होते म्हणून. Because he was with me in the college, he is not there. Because you are born of the same mother, you have the same mother. Out of her Sahasrara we are all born. That's why we are all brothers and sisters of equal merit and credit. This is what one has to feel. So, for Vishuddhi Chakra, universality through sweetness, the sweetness of relationship. Hamsa Chakra is a part of Vishuddhi Chakra, on which I have spoken very little, and which I would like to speak also later on a very, very bigger scale one day, is the abstract, the inner current of all this universe that is created, is Pranava itself, which is so pure, complete purity within yourself, absolute purity, nothing but vibration. That is only possible through developing your vibratory awareness and your discrimination. Nothing but vibration. Your vibratory awareness is the only way you see, smell, feel everything through vibratory awareness. But त्याच्यातही madcap पाहिलेत मी. काय विचारू नका. I have seen people behaving funnily in that also. Like in everything they say, let me see the vibrations of this, let me see the vibration of that. Then they'll say, your vibrations are not alright, his vibrations are not right. This is not the way to make fun of vibration. A stage must come when you don't have to see vibration, just feel it. That should be the stage. That side, your pranava is full. I never feel anything, neither vibrations nor any chakra, nothing. I have to ask you, because for me nothing catches. Imagine such a gross person. Nothing catches. Nothing I can feel. Where is the problem? I have to ask you, Baba, where is the problem of this gentleman? It is so bad. But only thing that happens is that anybody who comes before me just gets it, gets cured. I am nothing but vibrations. When you face me, it just works. When I speak, it works. I don't do anything rationally, I don't understand. But these vibrations themselves, the energy goes, works it out, that works it out, that works it out. It works out all over in the whole world. I do not consult it, I do not ask it. It's working on its own. If I want, I will ask, otherwise I will not. If I don't want to feel you, I will not feel you. There might be a Rakshasa sitting next to me, he might be shivering, but nothing will happen to me. I can stop his shivering if I want to. If I don't want, I will ask him to shiver. I'm not bothered. Because when on vibrations, the responsibility is there. On vibrations, which is my life, I leave them alone. They are very well trained. They know everything. They are absolutely pure. As my name is, they are absolutely pure. I have no problem with them. I play here and there. That's the different one. I try to cover them up sometimes. I create a maya. It's different. That's another style. But as far as the vibrations are concerned, they are absolutely pure. That's why they are so effective. So keep your vibrations pure. Without any intention. माझ्या बापाला बरं करा. गेले vibration. खड्ड्यात. Just now as I was coming, Modi was saying that, Mother, we pray to you that let all the good people be elected for the election. I said, as far as vibrations are concerned, they can go to this extent that they can create an atmosphere of understanding. But purification of vibrations is your job. If you are negative people, if this country is filled with negative people, they'll get negative rulers. Then they will learn through and understand it and get out. So this is... How far can they go? See, they will act, do whatever it is possible for them. But it is your freedom which has to decide, so how it goes up. Then we come to Agya Chakra, which is the light itself. That is the one that enlightens your attention. Agya Chakra. That is the light by which you see everything after realization. And when you know you are the light, and when you know that you are the eternal light, that nothing can kill you. Nainam chidanti shat prani, nainam dahati pavak. Once you know that in your Agya, then all the fears and domination disappear just like that. Because it is the light of love that does not dominate, nor is afraid, because it knows it is eternal. It is not afraid of death or of crucifixion or of anything. So to allow the joy of Agya to penetrate within you is to stabilize your light. In that light, you will enjoy your sacrifice. Like the martyrs who kill themselves with joy. In the same way, whatever trouble you have to put in for Sahaja Yoga, you will do it with joy. Anything that you have to face, any kind of sacrifice. Now the Sahaja Yogis are of a great understanding, have developed a lot. But in the beginning we had Sahaja Yogis, you don't know what headaches I had with them. They used to say, Mataji, we went there to talk to that man and we had to take some tea on the way. Will you pay for that? इथून सुरुवात होती. सॅक्रिफाईसचं सुटलं, माताजींना किती त्रास द्यायचा तेच. How much Mataji is going to pay for this and how much Mataji is going to pay for that and how much she is going to look after us and how much money we are going to save out of this arrangement or that arrangement is calculated first of all. And by coming to Sahaja Yoga, if you can become a leader or if you can get elected, all these things were calculated. But you have to become the light. The light that never dies, which is above all the joys. The Son who crucified himself for the sake of his mother's love, who carried the cross. In the presence of a mother who was so powerful. Such children you have to be to carry the light. Sacrifice, the enjoyment of sacrifice. Otherwise 2 पैसे इथे दिले, मला रात्री झोपायला नाही मिळालं, सकाळचं हे झालं. Troubling your mother for nothing at all. How much you can sacrifice? तन मन धन. तर मला नको तुमचं धन, पण तरी धन लागतं. Sacrifice for your emancipation, for your light being kept alive. Early in the morning one has to get up at 4 o'clock is too much for English people. That is the greatest sacrifice. You can tell them anything else. If you ask them, they'll give you 10 pounds, but don't wake them up in the morning. Because if they have to do dhyana in the morning, it's horrible. And then if you ask them to take a bath, that's the worst of all. To get up in the morning, have a bath and then do dhyana is too much. But for Indians, तो विषयच बोलू नये. बाकी सगळं करतील तिकडे, पण सकाळी उठू नका त्यांना. Here Indians will get up if you tell them 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, have their bath 4 times they will sit down for dhyana and all that they will. पण बसनी जायचं की पायी जायचं इथून सुरुवात. जर बसनी निघालो तर 5 पैसे जास्त लागतील. पायीच निघावं, उशीर होईल, पण काय माताजींचं असंच आहे, आल्या तर आल्या, नाही आल्या तर नाही आल्या. आपलं मनाशी विचार करत चाल. तिथं माताजी येऊन सगळं संपलं तरी आपले हळूहळू येऊन राहिलेत मागाव. ते 5 पैसे जर वाचवले तर बरंच आहे नाही का. आता काही असलं तरी माताजींना पेरू आवडतात. मग रस्त्यात मिळाले तर जीव एखादे 5 पैशाला एक मिळाला तर बरं आहे. पण 10 पैशाला असलं तर मग कठीण आहे. परत माताजींना चणे आवडतात. ते काय आपल्या स्वस्त आहे माताजींचं काम. आमचं फार स्वस्त बरं का, कठीण आहे सांगायचं. डिस्क्रिप्शन असोच बाहेर सगळ्यांना. आमचं माताजीचं अगदी साधं काम. 1 4 आण्याचे चणे आणि काय नाही, आपलं 1 नाही तर 2 पेरू बस. तेवढ्यावर खुश होतात आमच्या माताजी. नाही तर आपली फुलं एखादी वेडी बिडी घातली तर फार. पण जास्त खर्चाचं काम नाही माताजींचं आमचं. नाही तर आपलं गणपतीला गेलं तर जास्त पडतं, पण माताजींना पडत नाही एवढं. झालं आमचा संबंध केरा व्यक्तित्व. म्हणजे अगदी सगळं असं हिशेबी. Sacrifice. What are we sacrificing? These stones and this dust. For what? For the eternal light. हे तर असं झालं की आम्ही 5 रुपये दिले आणि एक टेलिव्हिजन सेट घेतला. केवढा आम्ही त्याग केला हो 5 रुपयाचा. त्याच्यापेक्षा आउट ऑफ प्रपोर्शन. इट्स आउट ऑफ प्रपोर्शन यू आर गोइंग टू गेट. दिस इज नॉट सॅक्रिफाइस. दिस इज नॉट इवन द स्लाइटेस्ट the value of what you are going to get. Out of proportion it is. I don't know how to tell you. It's out of proportion. But that proportion you can only see when you have light. When the light starts, it goes to eternity. In the same way, this eternal life encompasses the whole world, and you know the whole world within yourself. So the last chakra is of Sahasrara, which is a very important center because it is in the core of your heart, it's surrounding your heart. And all the 7 chakras have got their seats there. These are the seats which receive the joy and communicate to the heart. In Sahasrara, if you are there, already so many things you have got. You've got your vibrations, you've got your powers. But it's the most tricky center. It's a Mahamaya. Kalaki in a Mahamaya shape. It's a completely lived. In the Sahasrara, the joy of Sahasrara is the joy of the entire thing because all the 7 seats are there. If you can capture your Sahasrara in complete recognition of this Mahamaya, complete recognition, which is a very difficult thing because always the Maya is there. Then there's nothing to talk about. Then see how your heart enlarges. See now. Just recognize. See the expansion of your heart. It will cover all your entire being. Just recognize. That's why we have puja here. I have allowed you to have my puja only for one reason. That's the only way you can recognize me, by seeing vibrations, by seeing chakras, by feeling them, by getting them more, by correcting yourself. This is why I have agreed to have this puja. But if you do not recognize and do puja, it is useless for you. It's very bad. Just recognize.